How is it going? Hope you all are having a fantastic day today. If you are new to the channel, feel free to hit that subscribe button and let's go over the goodness that we have today. So, NINDIES Direct came and went, and I gotta say, if you haven't watched my other video, it is one of the, if not the best NINDIES Direct that I have ever seen. And if you watch the same Direct that I did, then you'll be like, well, of course it is. It was amazing. I mean, think about it for a second. Can you remember what happened in any of the previous NINDIES Direct? Say maybe, other than the first one for the Nintendo Switch, maybe. And even then, it's very sparse to me. But, you know, granted, there's an unfair advantage in this Direct because of obvious reasons. Number one, what you'll be thinking of, Cuphead. Cuphead coming to Nintendo Switch. Talked about that in another video. Feel free to check that one out if you want to, because I think that's a very important matter that needs to be discussed. And Cadence, which she's a character that she's from a game that I always saw from time to time, but it was something about the cover of it that made it unappealing to me. I'm not, because I thought it was a horror game, and I really did not necessarily a horror game, but you know, the ghouls and ghosts kind of thing, and it had Necro. So I was like, but I had no idea that it was rhythm based. I had no idea. That would have turned me around profusely. Am I using the word right, profusely? I don't know, who cares? But the Necrodancer team has apparently they've been pretty hard at work, because nobody knew this was coming. Crypt of the Necrodancer and Legend of Zelda. We got a mashup here, folks. And I gotta say, it's looking pretty damn good. So yes, at the very end of that NINDIES Direct, that amazing NINDIES Direct, that is what we got. But just to briefly go over some other stuff too, some of my favorites from there, God, there were so many. There were so many games that I actually was looking forward to. Blaster Master Zero, which I mentioned in the other video. A couple that I really liked. I really can't wait for that. Creature in the Well is very interesting to me, because the art style, the look and feel, really, it has a, and I know Travis Strikes Again has gotten some heat, some well-deserved criticism. I'm not going to take that away from it, but the fact that it has that very similar kind of out there art style, I'm really into it. I want Creature in the Rail. Speaking of R words, Rad, which I believe is being made by Tim Schafer, which, you know, he makes Psychonauts and all those other trippy cool games. I think Double Fine Productions, if I'm not mistaken. I'm not too up to date like everybody else, but definitely looking forward to that. Anything that he makes, I want to be a part of. I love that unique and that differentness. Bloodroots looks really good. Stranger Things, I know that was unveiled at the Game Awards, but you know, it's coming along kind of nicely. Got some stuff that is inspired by Breath of the Wild, so take from that what you will. Overland looks good. I mean, like all the games, almost all the games in it are they did the thing. So we are here to talk about Cadence of Hyrule. I just wanted to get that out there. Shout out to the other game developers, because these games look really good, and credit definitely deserves to be given. Like these look really good. You should be, I mean, even though I'm a nobody on the internet, you should be proud of yourselves. All this stuff looks really good. But anyways, back to what we're talking about. The nature of their final announcement is what's getting me. Now, don't get me wrong, it's not like Nintendo hasn't worked with any other studios before with their IPs. I mean, take into account Hyrule Warriors, working with Koei Tecmo, and Fire Emblem Warriors, same thing. You know, Nintendo did publish those games themselves, acting as their own, you know, they're acting in their own interest on that. I think it's very, but this is a little bit different. This is a little bit different. So for the first thing that I want to say, as far as why this is, you know, this Necromancer X Zelda crossover is so important to me, or at least I think should be important, is you got a playable Zelda. Think about that for a second. Remember how people got pissy, and understandably so, really, because I think Breath of the Wild could have benefited from Zelda being playable. Like that actually would have been sick. But remember the last time she was playable in a non Smash Brothers game? I mean, I think she has a sword and a spear, no less. And I'm assuming that she uses magic. Link is using his bow and sword, or at least just based off of the trailer alone. They may get other weapons in the game, but that's what we have at face value. Another cool important thing to me though is they're bringing back older like Zelda baddies that kind of been lost to time. They brought back the four-headed dragon. You know, it's funny, the bokoblins are always, I don't know why, I guess it's just funny to bash bokoblins, so you can't have a game without them. Lionels, I definitely wouldn't expected those bad boys to be in here, but man, a playable Zelda, like that's hot. Now, I'm thinking the reason that they went with these, and you know what? I just thought about it. Because a lot of the creatures, or at least the creatures that I'm seeing in the trailer, I'm a huge Zelda dork, so I apologize for what's following. I believe these are from the Downfall timeline. This is when Ocarina of Time, when the hero fails and Ganon wins. You got the bokoblins, like all the bad stuff. Because they even have those soldiers too, like some soldiers from the Link to the Past. Now, granted, I think they went with this because of the original Necrodancer game, the look and feel of it. The look and feel of that game has a kind of a downfall, like the downfall of Link, of Hyrule timeline, all that good stuff. The look and the aesthetic easily matches the Necrodancer game. I think that's why they went with it initially, but I think it's very interesting that the Downfall timeline is where this is coming from. I don't even know if Nintendo even cares or wants to keep it up or even count this as far as the timeline, because we don't know what the story is about. We don't know what's going on with it. I'm assuming Cadence of Hyrule, which means she's in Hyrule right now. I'm assuming that's what's happening. But yeah, that's what we got at face value. What's odd though is that something like this, and this is the neatest part to me though, something like this went to a NINDIES Direct instead of like a Nintendo Direct. And I say that because I think of like Undertale and other indie games. What's that one game? Is it like Box Girl and Box Boy or something like that? And then Baba Is You, I think that was in the last Nintendo Direct. It's just really odd that they put that here rather direct. But from a marketing standpoint, it makes all the sense in the world. I'm pretty sure Nintendo is no stranger to knowing that their NINDIES Directs don't draw near the level of ooh and ah that their Nintendo Directs does. Like, that's easy. You can just go to YouTube, bam, see it. You can see the comparisons all day long. Not really hard at all. So, marketing standpoint, you bring your heavy hitters like Zelda over to a NINDIES Direct, you're gonna draw some eyes. Granted, Cuphead would have done that itself, but to end it out with Zelda, I mean, you could have swapped either or, and it would have been amazing on either side. But I think it was a very wise decision to put Cuphead, something that's universally loved. Zelda is universally loved too, but Cuphead, I think, maybe on a different scale. Not in tenure, but just it was all the rage for a while. Zelda, it's not anything that's new to Zelda, but it's different. It's different. I think I can't really describe it the way I want to. But you got to think of the possibilities though that will come from this. The fact that Nintendo would be so chill as to work with an indie developer to use one of their, like, this is a precious IP to them. Like, next to Pokemon is owned by Pokemon, but next to Mario, Zelda is up there. Zelda is part of the upper echelon of Nintendo IPs. But man, you never know what you could see. You could see Shovel Knight crossover with Zelda. You could see Shantae crossover with Zelda, which, oh boy, I would easily pay for that. But wait for its relationship with Nintendo, I wouldn't be surprised. Like, not in the least. I would be surprised, but I'd be like, yeah, this makes a lot of sense. But Nindies getting that first party support is such a huge deal. It's such a huge paradigm shift. Like, years ago, this wouldn't be a thing at all. Not to say that Nintendo was bad for that, or any company's bad for not wanting to work with any developer. But back then, it just wasn't part of the culture. It just wasn't part of the time. It wasn't part of their frame of thinking. It's the same case that I've been making with adding indie characters to Smash Brothers. Do you know how massive that is? I legit wonder who the final boss is even going to be for this game. Is it going to be Ganon, or is it going to be a Necrodancer, or is it going to be a fusion of the bosses from the games? Or I have no idea. It's really fascinating, but it's beneficial to everyone. It's like Zelda fans, they pour money into the Zelda franchise because we love it. I even have a Zelda wallet. I even have a Zelda figure on my desk. We love Zelda. And you slap Zelda on anything, I'm gonna get it. You slap Zelda on a bag of charcoal, I'm like, boy, that charcoal looking mighty good. I have no intention on barbecuing or anything, but the fact that Zelda's on it is like, man, gotta have it. But it's wild. Like, the constant support that indie developers are getting from Nintendo, it really shows a shift. It shows a very nurturing and interesting shift, you know, aside from the shit tier online. But really though, you know, remember the old days of Nintendo, the Yamauchi era, which, don't get me wrong, he did a great job, but he fostered a history of Nintendo wanting control over everything. And given what happened with when they did let go of some of that control, I can't necessarily blame them for that mindset. But me personally, when you collab instead of working by yourself, which I know I can't really follow my own saying because I don't have anybody that would collaborate with me as of yet, but the fact that you're collaborating instead of working it solo, it's such a win-win for everyone. It's ridiculous. It's such a simplistic move to do, but it's very smart. It's very smart. You know, the developers for that Necrodancer game, you know, they even did an interview, which I find interesting because I had no idea that developers all the time are like, they're wanting to do something with Nintendo. Now, I can't say that this is 100%. I can only take it at face value, and they have no reason to say otherwise. But it's fascinating that they were even wanting to make a DLC pack for Necrodancer with Nintendo. But Nintendo was like, why don't you just do something new? Which brings me to another point that I forgot to add, the Mario X Rabbids Kingdom battle. Again, you know me, I hate minions, therefore I hate rabbits because they are one and the same. Rabbits are literally, well, actually, I guess since rabbits came first, minions are just rabbits that are yellow. I mean, they're just jelly beans, and like my least favorite color jelly bean. Minus the ear flops on it. Same obnoxious, unfunny nature to them. But with the developer having so much passion and so much just being genuine with its creations, you can't help but like it. And just the fact that it was a good game, the end product was a really good game. And if you haven't played it yet, think Mario plus XCOM, which it's good. I mean, how can you hate on that? And it's solidly made. It's vibrant, visual, and the art style for this Necrodancer X, crossing with Zelda game, it looks really good in and of itself. Like, this doesn't look cheap. It doesn't look knockoffy. It doesn't look bootleggy. It's beautiful, really. The art style for it is just it's god dang beautiful. But I think just like this, Nintendo said, and even just like Bowser being added to Wreck-It Ralph. He was like, hey, this is cool, just make him a bit, I think they said make him a bit bigger or something like that. But yeah, just like Mario X Rabbids, they wanted them to, like, don't make another Mario game. And I'm pretty sure they told the studio behind Necrodancer, don't make just another Zelda game or just add it in as like DLC. Like, it's cool, but it's boring. Make a brand new game, something that we haven't done before. Make that. And even though that sounds genuine and awe-inspiring, let's think about the context here. Make something that we haven't made before. It, to me, in my opinion, it works on multiple levels. Like, yeah, you have it to where, you know, you're giving an indie developer a chance, and if they do a great job, you're probably going to do something with them again. And the fact that this developer only has 2 games under their belt, like the second one is this, it's incredible. But on the flip side of that, I think it's kind of 4D chessy when you think about it. Making a game that Nintendo hasn't made before, it's a little bit of a risk, but it's also a certain level of diversification too. And when I say that, I mean Nintendo can make another Zelda game. Nintendo will make another Zelda game. They'll re-release previous Zelda games. Like, Zelda done by Nintendo has been done. I know that sounds redundant, but that's what it is redundant. It may be an awesome redundancy, but it's still redundant. Nintendo can make another one of those. They don't need another company to make another Zelda. So making a different Zelda, that's the kicker. You're offering something new, something different, and it's cross-promoting both games. The people, the audience that likes the Necro games, that doesn't sound right. The fans that like that game itself, and then the Zelda fans. A lot of Zelda fans are probably going, like, I guarantee you, if you at the recording of this video, if you go into the store, like a couple of days or maybe like a week or so down the line, I guarantee you that the Necrodancer game is going to be in one of like the featured games. It's going to move up the charts just because people want to get acclimated to the story of that original game before they jump into the Zelda crossover. Like, that's how big it is. That's going to move numbers. It's moving numbers as I speak, I'm sure. But I think this is such a beautiful thing. It's such a smart, it's a stupidly smart move. And I'm proud of Nintendo for that move. I'm proud of the any indie studio doing, it's just like anybody that's doing something for themselves. I'm proud of them for being able to get such a massive opportunity like this. Like, good job, people. Like, you don't know I exist. I didn't really know you existed. Good job. And you should be proud of yourselves. It's a beautiful thing that's happening here. And I can't wait to see how it turns out. Not only that, I can't wait to see what happens next because of this. And that's the end of the video. I hope you enjoyed. And if you like that video, once again, feel free to hit that subscribe button. Feel free to like, share wherever you share things. Let me know what you think below. What do you think of Cuphead being announced for Switch? What do you think of this Necrodancer X Zelda situation going on? You like it? You lump it? Could it be better? Could it be worse? Leave your thoughts down below, and as always, I'll be glad to read your comments. Got a Patreon. Feel free to check that out. Tier start as low as a measly $1 a month. If you feel like supporting the channel, great. If not, hey, if you want to get yourself something nice, I have an apparel store, Casualverse.com. It supports independent artists, so you want to be a part of that, and you want to get you a really cool design, feel free to check it out. Some good stuff in there, some good deals, good sales. But with that said, hope you all have a fantastic day, and I'll check you later. My throat's getting sore.